Introducing Tony and Other People, a podcast. Here's your host, Tony Luvak.
Danny Lawton. It's been a few years
That's been
since we've met.
Yes.
Not since we've seen each other.
No,
Just saw you,
a couple of months ago.
yeah,
Yeah.
Wade and Kristen's wedding.
Yes,
Wedding.
it's a good time.
My Lewis County's coming out.
Wedding. Go hunting lately, have you?
Yeah, hunting and fishing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, I'm trying to think here when we actually met. I think it was.
I was trying to think about that today, too.
I saw you. What was it? A Good Golly. Before that was the Burglars.
Yep.
Saw that you there playing with Dana. And I guess Mike, at the time.
Yep.
At some bar. I'm just trying to think where it was. But I almost want to say you had a big black leather hat on. Almost like something that...
Like a top hat?
yes.
Yeah, I wore the top hat
Okay.
for a while. I like hats.
Because I remember seeing you. I'm like, never heard of you guys.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, who's this? I was like, who's this dude?
Goofy looking
Yeah, I was
dude.
like, what's this guy at the time? And you guys, when I remember, you were good. You were good. It sounded good.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I might have been Buck's place.
Bucks?
Not for
Oh.
sure. It was, I don't know, it was a bar down more in the southern part of the county, I believe. But yeah, I remember that seeing you for the first time. And then I think a couple months later, I saw you again. And I think we probably met then after a while. I'm not for sure the exact time, but.
Well, you were kind of a local legend for a long time.
A legend, huh?
I knew your name before I even met you.
Oh, yeah? Just from probably playing out and stuff, yeah.
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 You've been playing out, what,
Oh, my.
20 years?
Oh. Brian Byer and I started playing in Nancy's Hammer
Oh, wow.
probably when I was...
I was in the 90s, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We were in, I want to say, 10th grade when we got started, and we started playing out in bars, I think, when we were 11th or 12th grade.
Really?
Yeah, we were definitely underage playing out in bars.
Yeah.
And his brother was even younger. Adam was our bass player, and he was even younger than us. He was a couple years younger than us.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we got started. Him and I, Brian and I, we would jam in the Laval band room. We jam after school because I knew he played guitar. He knew I played drums.
Mm-hmm.
So he'd bring his guitar in after school, and we'd get permission from the band teacher, Mr. Brooker at the time. I think he's still there. And we would he'd crank up his guitar, and I'd get on the drum set, and we would sit there and rail Nirvana, Bush, just all the 90s alternative bands. Like, we were just cranking them, and, after school, and teachers would stop in and, poke their head in the door and, see what was going on. They liked to. But that's how him and I got started, and we became good friends, and started Nancy's Hammer, and we played for quite a few years together.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Cool. I've tried to get Brian on the podcast, but he says he has nothing to talk about.
Yeah.
I bet.
Yeah. He's full of it.
Yeah.
No, he's played a lot of gigs too.
So have you always been drums, or?
When I first started, I started drums when I was in 4th grade. I just, in the band, the local Laval band at the school, and I just picked up drum set. The teacher at the time never really taught me anything but snare drums, so I kind of taught myself on the drum set.
Mm-hmm.
And that was all I did. And then when I started with Brian playing, did a few backup vocals on choruses and stuff, nothing big.
Mm-hmm.
And then I played drums with him until, I don't know, mid-20s, I guess we were.
Mm-hmm.
Then we broke up, and then I started a band where I decided I wanted to try to sing.
Mm-hmm.
And then
What was that called?
it was after Brian and I broke up with Nancy's Hammer, I took like a year off, I think. We got back together, and we did a heavy metal band where he was playing guitar, and then we had a bass player, Bob O'Connor, and then Kenny Booth was on drums.
Okay.
They were called Mob 3,
Mm-hmm.
if you remember them or not.
Yep.
But when I joined them for it was just only like a 6-month period, we were called Nank, and we did everything from Godsmack to Tool to Disturbed. I was like, so it was just stuff that, was pretty hard to sing.
Yeah.
But we did it for like 6 months.
Especially for a whole night, a whole game.
Oh yeah, it was pretty brutal.
People just don't realize that.
Yeah.
They're like, oh yeah, I can sing like that. Yeah, for a song or two,
Yeah.
but try it for 4 hours.
Yeah. Yep. It's like when people like now, everybody, at least one person every gig now, AC/DC. You can, I'm like, you can get one song, and that's going to be it for the rest of the,
That's when my brother used to save it for the very last song of the
and your
night.
brother can hit it. He sings AC/DC really well.
Yeah, he's
Yep.
insane.
But so yeah, that was Nank doing the heavy metal stuff. Got out of that. had a buddy named Dave Webster, if anybody knows him. He's a long friend of mine, and he knew somebody in Gouverneur that played guitar and was looking for a singer. His name was Arnold, the guy I'm with now.
Yep.
Arnold Dajnaw. I joined the band Common Ground. Well, I want to say probably 10 years ago, 8, 9, 10 years ago, somewhere in there.
Mm-hmm.
Tried out for them guys. They were doing all classic rock, doing a lot of the Tragical Hip, a Canadian band.
Yep.
And for some reason, I had a knack with that. I could sing the Tragical Hip pretty well. So they really liked that. So they asked me to join the band.
Mm-hmm.
Been with them for 8, 9 years, but we broke up 3, 4 years ago for a little time off, and we just got back together in the past year.
Nice.
Yep.
Playing out quite a bit now, or
no, and that's the way we want it.
Yeah.
For the time we were together in that first stint there, it was nonstop. Friday, Saturday, sometimes a party Saturday afternoon, a gig Saturday night, and it was a lot. I mean,
it kills you.
Yeah, it does, and a lot of it was up north where it was in Ogdensburg, Kent, and Potsdam, where I was traveling. Where I got to travel an hour just to get to Gouverneur to meet the band, and then we got to travel from there. I wasn't getting home till 4:00 in the morning.
Yeah,
but at the time I was single, and it wasn't a big deal. But it definitely made us feel like a job almost.
Yeah,
and it's not. If you're in a band, you don't want that. I mean,
once it feels like a job, it's done.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And man, I love it. I mean, it's a passion of ours, but
yeah,
when you work 50 hours a week doing your regular job and you do this on the weekends, it's a lot.
It's supposed to be a release. It's supposed to be fun, and money helps.
Yeah.
Who around here isn't struggling?
Yeah.
Needing a few extra bucks.
Yep.
But yeah, you're right. Once it becomes a job, then it doesn't. I've never seen it last very long once it feels like a job.
Yeah, and it wasn't always like that with them from when we first started. It was probably the last year we were together is when we were getting pretty popular, and it just it kind of took a toll on us. So then we broke up, and then I got into an acoustic thing for a couple of years with Bob Deneve.
Yep.
That was called Johnny Shack.
That's right.
A lot of people want to know where that name came from. Apparently, we got some idea in our head where we heard that if you want a porn name, it was you take your middle name and the street you grew up on or something.
Uh-huh.
So he was like, well, what's yours, Dan? I'm like, well, my middle name's John, and I grew up on the Shack Road. He goes, oh, Johnny Shack. He goes, that's a great name.
It is.
I'm like, okay. So that's what we call ourselves, and we did acoustic for 2 years there. And actually, that kind of got me back into where I was getting I was enjoying it more.
Being active.
I just had the drive, I guess, more to keep,
Yep.
to pursue music again.
It is addictive.
It is. And when you complain about, playing gigs sometimes, you do. People do. If you're in a band, you know what it's like. And then as soon as you're out of it, you're like, I got to have it again.
Yeah.
Like even a week or two later, you're just like, when's my next gig,
Yeah.
It's like a thirst, I guess you call it, or a hunger or whatever. So Bob and I got together, did the acoustic thing for a couple of years, and that was good. We'd travel quite a bit. We were playing kind of what we wanted to, but it was fun. Then him and I started a band up where we got my nephew on drums, and I met my wife now. At the time I met her, we started going out, and she was a singer as well. Mm-hmm. She joined us singing. Paul Bolivar was on bass, Paul?
Yep.
And we would do kind of 90s alternative stuff. We did a lot of Bush, some Sublime. She would sing Evanescence. She sings Evanescence amazing.
Uh-huh.
And it was awesome.
I've heard her sing a few times.
Yeah.
Very talented.
Yep. That's what I think Cream Cheese Festival.
Yeah.
Yep, because you guys played before us, I believe. Then we did like a jam session.
Joined up at the end.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
So, we did that. And then stuff just, I don't know, it fell through and we got done. And it was about a year off. Then Common Ground, we wanted to get back on again. Yep.
That's good. Now you're busy.
Yeah, we're busy with that. And I've been recently jamming with your brother a little bit.
Yeah.
Filling in on drums for
That's
his band, No Vacancy.
Yeah.
It was good to get the skins out again and start hitting on them.
That and they play the type of music you like. So
Yeah. They do a little more alternative stuff, yeah. Do a lot of actually old country that
Yeah,
it's
Mike loves the old country.
yeah, which is great because people do love it. And
Well, if you're gonna play around here, it's tough. It seems like you drive 5 miles and the music taste is completely different,
right.
and it's very localized. Like Glenfield and South, they're big into that old country stuff, and then you get up towards Belfort and into the woods, and it's the old country.
Yep.
You get towards Watertown, Tragically Hip.
Yep.
A lot of the '90s
Yep.
stuff.
Yep.
So you really, if you want to play around here, and this is what a lot of people don't know that aren't in the, I don't want to say industry, but in music, is there's a lot of prep work. People don't just show up to a gig and play a gig is not 4 hours.
Yeah, no,
you're
definitely
playing
not.
4 hours.
Yes.
You're there an hour to set up.
Yep.
Sometimes more. You're a drummer, so
Yeah.
probably more for
Yeah.
you. And then, probably half hour, 45 minutes to tear down, and that's not including any of the drive time, and that's just a gig.
oh, I know.
Not including all the hours you spend practicing.
Yep.
And the more people you have in the band, the more schedules you have to work
Yep.
around. Everyone's got a different life.
Yep. A lot of people don't understand that.
It takes a lot to, if you go out and see a band in a bar,
Yeah.
the amount of work that went to just for them to be at that point would blow people's minds.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
We do make good money doing what we do,
Yeah.
but when you really add up all
We
the
add up, you
hours and
don't-
time,
Exactly.
it's a labor of love.
It is, and it's like you're getting paid to do something. It's like you love it. I mean, I love it. It's
Yeah.
and you get to walk, say $100 or whatever you make a night,
Yeah.
but it's something you love to do, and I just love it. I mean, ever since I've got back into it, I've got a new. I just enjoy it more, and I have 2 little girls, and I just can show them that, and they have a love for music.
Yeah.
and they just love. I love playing them music and listen to them. Like, this is what I play in the band, and then like once in a while they hear us practice a song or something, like, oh, I know that song.
Yep.
You know.
Isn't it amazing to pass that on
Oh,
to
yeah.
the next
Yeah.
generation
Yep.
and kind of have you got the steering wheel, so you can
Yeah.
be like, here, listen to this, listen to
Yeah.
that.
Yep.
I try not to ever tell my daughter, don't listen to this.
Yeah.
I don't think that's really fair.
No.
I think they should, because she likes some pop music.
Oh, yeah.
All the movies,
Oh,
all
yeah,
the kids'
yeah.
movies nowadays,
Yes.
it's filled with pop
Yeah.
music, so it's hard
Kids
to
bop.
avoid that. Yeah.
Oh, they
that new
our little
Taylor
ones
Swift
love
song.
that stuff. That channel and Sirius, that Kids Bop.
Yeah.
It's the kids singing pop songs. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
But yeah, I don't. Like you said, you can't. Just have them enjoy music. No matter.
You want to
what it
push them in a certain
Yeah.
direction, but you don't want to,
Yeah.
say this is bad.
is. Yeah,
Even though I'd love to say, oh,
Yeah.
this is horrible. Don't listen to this.
I give my
Just
kids a
'cause
lot.
I don't want to.
yeah. I give my kids a lot of like Marilyn Manson and stuff to listen to. No, I don't.
Well, you should.
I should, but
Yeah.
but
You'd be surprised.
actually, I would love to see him live. I know he's playing here in Syracuse this summer. It'd be cool. I've never seen him.
I always really liked his music. The shock value when he first came
Yeah.
out was
Yeah,
kind of what launched him.
Yeah.
But once you listen to the music, you're like, wow, this guy really. It's a distinct sound. When you hear him singing, you never think of anyone else.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
like, who
definitely,
is that?
yeah.
You know right off the
Yeah.
bat. And the band he has, that late 90s industrial rock.
Yep.
There was some of it that was such
kind of like
garbage.
a Nine Inch Nails kind of.
Yeah, Stabbing Westward.
Yes. Stabbing Westward. Wow.
Yeah.
I saw them. Yeah, they're good. Yeah.
But I love the guitar that, it's just in your face
Yeah.
and so precise. It's almost like a percussion instrument,
Yeah.
the way the industrial music was.
And his videos he'd make were pretty sick.
Yeah.
They were good videos.
Yeah.
90s. I don't know. I mean, that's you're about
Yeah.
the same age. It's just like that we grew up on.
How old
grew
are
up
you?
on. I'm 38.
38.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're a little older.
Yeah. What are you?
36.
Oh, yeah. Okay. But you know what I mean. So-
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
That when you're in high school, right? You're
Yeah.
16, the 18-year-old is so much older. They're like,
Oh,
what?"
yeah.
But when you get in your 30s,
You're like,
it's the
oh,
same exact
same-
thing.
exactly.
It's like, oh, you're so much older. No, not really.
Oh.
You can't get that out of your head.
But yeah, the 90s music. I mean, my passion would be just be in a band that did 90s music. But around Lowell, it's not. Or,
Yeah.
unless you go and make Syracuse, like maybe Watertown. But the people aren't going to, it's hard to dance to that stuff so much. But
Yeah.
I kind of throw songs here and there,
Well, that's what you have to do. You
Yeah.
have to, play 3 for the crowd and 1 for yourself.
Yep.
I've known quite a few heavy metal bands around here, and I was in, a few of them. And these people sounded great and were wonderful at what they did. But unfortunately, you got to drive to Syracuse or Utica. There's some places in Watertown just to get a gig.
Yeah.
And that type of music, it doesn't pay well either. They want to pay you an exposure all the time, And you almost have to do original stuff, which is great. But, yeah, if you want to play around here, it's classic rock and country, and you'll be booked,
What did you enjoy playing mostly? You said you were in some heavy metal bands?
Yeah. I really liked, like the same as you, the grunge stuff. And even a little bit later, I was into Taproot and, Limp Bizkit in high school was my jam.
Bizkit.
Yeah. So I loved that, really.
He had a slick bass. Sam Rivers, I believe.
Yeah,
right?
Sam Rivers.
Johnny
That's
Otto
what
on
really got
drums.
me into the 5-string bass, because I always
Yeah.
loved playing the 5-string. I just... new metal is what it was called. Kind of the Rage Against the Machine, System of a Down, that type of stuff. In the 90s, I really liked the grunge.
Yeah.
But as I got into like 16, 17 years old, I wanted it pushed a little further.
Yeah.
That's why I got into Manson and
Gotcha.
some of the industrial stuff, because Green Day just wasn't heavy enough for me anymore.
Yeah.
But then I kind of went the other way, once I got out of Lewis County and I lived in Rome for a while and had a bunch of friends that were into classic rock. And I always grew up on, like, my dad loved BTO and Elton John and stuff you hear on the Blizzard all the time. But the friends I met down in Rome were into the psychedelic classic rock stuff. I never really listened to much Pink Floyd. I heard the hits. And then once I got into that, it was just way too many hours listening to really trippy, long...
Floyd is so good, though.
Yeah. And Led Zeppelin. They really got me into Led Zeppelin. My dad wasn't into the heavier stuff, and my mom was into older country.
Yeah.
So, and that's another thing, kind of brings us back around to what you train your kids to like, or what you offer up to your kids. 20 years from now, looking back on this time period, this is going to be classic rock, what comes out now. So it's weird to think, what they'll take away from that and what they're going to miss out on just because either you don't know it or you're not into it, so you don't show them. That might be a great thing. Maybe even you'll like 20 years from now. Music is it's so tied to nostalgia. Like, you hear songs that you heard when you were a kid differently now than what you like. My dad was into the soft rock stuff. As a kid, I heard it, but that's all I heard all the time. So I didn't really care for it. It was just the music that was on. But now going back, I really have an appreciation for the lyrics. And
now, growing up, you said the music was like in the background, but did they talk about music a lot?
Whenever we would ride in the car,
Yeah.
I grew up in the Lions Falls area.
Yeah.
My parents always listened to Light 98.7. So soft rock, kind of pop-ish stuff. And my dad always played the game, and now I play it with him. A song would come on. Okay, who sings this song? Because my dad knew every artist, and the whole car, all of us kids would try to guess who it was. And, I can't do that with Penelope yet, because she only listens to the Beatles.
That's good. It's good band to listen to, though.
Yeah, she could name half of the Beatles songs just by the first opening. Whatever.
Growing up, I was just asking about your parents. Like, my parents, from what I remember, like, music, I know we listened to music and stuff, but it wasn't like... My dad, I guess, I was more into sports, I guess, then. When I was, my dad we were into sports big time. I mean, I played every sport growing up, all the youth sports and stuff.
That explains Fred.
Yeah, he's big into sports, yeah. But, but the music really wasn't, we had the radio on, but, I'm sorry. But it wasn't like I didn't know it until I got, probably like, 5th, 6th grade, I started listening to the radio more. I learned it myself more. But I'm trying to do that with my girls. I try to, get them some knowledge of the music and stuff now.
Yep. I know Penelope knows how to move through the channels on Pandora on our
Yep.
And we've got everything on there.
Yeah.
There's Nora Jones to Rammstein.
It's just so convenient now
Yeah.
to get music.
And she'll just flick through, and if she doesn't like a channel, but I notice her stopping on, what is this, Dad? What is this? When you discover music for yourself, like you remember when we could go out and buy cassettes once you got your allowance or whatever, got some money, and you could pick your own music out. That's when my passion for music started. Like, there was always music around that my parents picked out, but once I got to choose, and once I got my own car, I can listen to whatever station I wanted to. That discovery of music really drove my passion, which I'm sure was the same with you.
Same with me. Yeah, I thought it was so exciting to go get a CD and have like the sleeve in it and look at this like now like you can get so many pictures off the internet, you don't need it, but it was just so like to go out and get a fresh CD, take the sticker off the side. It was like it was awesome.
Impossible to open.
When's the last time you bought a CD though?
I steal all my music.
Oh, yeah. Like, I don't remember the last CD I ever purchased.
I still have a CD player in my car, so I burn CDs.
So you still burn them? Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
You know what I do? I download the full album as one track.
Okay.
So that I'm forced to listen, because I love to listen to full albums.
Yes.
I'm a mixtape guy, too.
Yeah.
I like to mix it up. But there are certain albums, a great album should be listened to that way,
There's only a few albums that you can actually do, you can actually sit and listen from start to finish.
Yeah. And it's funny, I make those CDs, I pop them in the car, and the wife rides around with me. She doesn't know that.
Yeah.
And she goes to skip a song, and it just brings it back to the beginning of the CD. She's, oh, man.
That's funny. That's funny.
But there's a lot when you start to learn and discover your own music. I remember the revelation that I could go see these bands. I could go see them in concert for like $20, $10.
I used to go to so many shows.
Oh, K-Rockathon when they first started those.
Yep.
And that was the music I was into.
Those are awesome.
And I had friends that could drive.
Yep.
That really opened my eyes to music, because it's one thing to listen to a song or an album or a band over and over and really enjoy the music. But going to see them live can really change your opinion. Either make it enforce that opinion or say, wow, they really suck live. Maybe I should go see them again. Maybe it was an off night. Or sometimes that ruined whole bands for me, to see them live, and either they were rude or didn't interact with the crowd and just played their stuff, or just sucked.
Yeah. I've discovered a lot of good bands that way too. Like, going like, because K-Rockathon used to have like, what, 10, 15 bands that play. And the first 4 bands you never heard of, more than likely. Yeah. Except for maybe one song.
And you could get right to the front of the stage.
Yeah. And they would some of them would blow you away. I remember I never heard of Cowboy Mouth before.
Oh, man.
Remember them? The drummer.
I was there for that, yeah.
And that guy just, he was
crazy
amazing.
Drum.
Yeah.
He was hitting the snare and letting go of the stick, and it would fly behind him, and
he'd catch it.
The guitarist would catch it once in a while, and
just like bands like that would just. I think a lot of them would have to do a good show to get to get a bigger following.
But that's how it was back then in the 90s.
Yeah.
A lot of those bands became famous because they would tour nonstop, and they tour with a good act.
Yes.
Open for a good act. And then one of their songs would get played on the radio, and then people go see them. Like, I remember Syracuse. I was into a band called Shades Apart. And
Shades Apart, I think I've heard of them, yeah.
They were kind of a pop punk, like similar to Green Day. I wouldn't want to say total pop, but a trio, that power trio punk band with melodic stuff. And they were a great band, still are. And they had one song that was on the radio, and they came and played here, and I saw them twice in Geneseo, and then they started playing more songs off the album. And then they got kind of popular. They had a song on the American Pie soundtrack. And I thought, oh wow, they're finally gonna, because they sang "Happy Birthday" to me at one of my shows. I followed them on the early days of the internet when bands would talk to you, back to you, and I thought they really made it big, but that just never happened.
Never happened, yeah. Huh.
But yeah, you're right. When you go to a festival like that, where there's a lot of bands, you end up, I got to go check these guys out. And then back then, you can go and buy their CDs and meet them a lot of the time. They'd sign them. And
buy their shirts.
Yep. Back when they were like
Toadies?
$5 a piece. Yeah, the
They
Toadies.
blew me away in the 90s.
Yeah.
I loved them. I was big into them. I was huge into Our Lady Peace.
Mm-hmm. Our Lady Peace. I love.
Big into them.
I've
A lot
seen them.
of the Canadian bands I was into because you could pick up, remember 106.7?
Yeah,
The Border
The
used
Border.
to be Z-Rock, I believe, right?
The Border used to be awesome.
And that was like in the mid to late 90s, and that was all alternative.
Yep.
They play a lot of Canadian alternative, and I used to
I
get big into
remember
them.
the day I lost interest in The Border was when Britney Spears' first song come out.
Yeah.
And they played it, and I'm like, what is this? And it was the same time as Christina Aguilera.
Yeah.
All the boy bands hit.
Yeah.
And then they kind of changed. I don't know if they changed formats,
Well, it's
but
like
that's
top
what
40,
pop
right?
music
Yeah.
became.
Yeah.
And I was just so disappointed because back then you could only get a couple stations locally.
Mm-hmm.
And what I liked turned into pop music. And yeah, whatever. But nowadays there's so many different ways. You don't have to listen to anything you don't like.
No, exactly.
know,
Exactly.
if
Yeah,
you-
because you can go to like...
If you got a smartphone and the internet,
Yeah.
you're good to go.
Like I have Amazon Prime or
Prime,
music, whatever,
yep.
and you can just type in, you get anything you want.
Yep. My favorite is YouTube. I'll find a band or a song that I like and then scroll down that side, the similar side. And, oh, what are these guys?
Well, yeah.
And that's what I do for work a lot. You know, on Tuesdays I play a lot of red dirt country out of Texas, kind of alternative country.
Okay.
A little bit, I think they call it outlaw country, and stuff that doesn't get played on pop or top 40 radio. And man, the music that is out there, the problem nowadays is there's so much of it, it's a needle in a haystack.
Yeah.
So you got to dig through a bunch of crap before you find exactly what you're looking for.
Yep. And a lot
But
of
it's
these,
out there.
Yeah. A lot of these bands now, they have to pretty much tour to make their money. Am I right?
Yeah.
They're not.
Yeah.
Because you can go and buy one song for $1, and you're not selling albums, and
And the band gets about half a cent
exactly.
of that.
So you got to make your money touring.
Yeah.
That's why you see, I think, a lot more festivals and tours these days.
Even the big name acts
Yeah.
are out there 24/7. Album sales are. We've seen quite a change in the music industry in the past 5 years, but I think the next 5 years it's going to be completely flipped because, I mean, most music that people have is stolen. You know, unless you have Apple.
Yeah, right.
Or not the artists aren't making the money. You know, somebody else is. There's always middlemen in with it. But the music industry, the money in it is got to change, because you're right. The only way they make money is to tour nonstop. That kills a lot of bands.
Oh, it does. It's great for fans because they get to go
Yeah.
and see them.
Yeah. But we live in a kind of weird area for that. If we want to, you know, although
Watertown's been getting better. They've
Fred
been-
just saw Steve Miller Band
Yeah.
this weekend and Peter Frampton.
Yep, they've actually got. I won tickets. I'm going to see Bret Michaels next week.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not a big Poison fan, but
Yeah.
I was coming home one night from band practice, and I was listening to 94.1, and I ended up winning him on there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna go check him out That's next Saturday. But they're having. I can't remember the name of the tour, but it's Buck Cherry and
Okay.
Lit,
Yep.
Alien Ant Farm, and POD in one show.
I've seen all of them.
They're going to be down there at the fairgrounds playing at that
Really?
exhibition hall.
See, that's the type of music you
That's
don't
what I mean. Yeah,
get to see there.
Yeah.
Seether is coming to Watertown,
yeah, I
too.
saw that. Yeah,
Yep.
but
good.
like Lakeview, I mean that place. Have you been there yet?
No, I have not.
It's I've
I
been.
booked a wedding for the day of Paul McCartney.
Oh,
and
I didn't realize he was playing there. Or did or
he
is?
did last year.
Okay, I didn't. Okay,
And that's my bucket list. That's pretty much the only thing on my bucket list.
gotcha.
And I missed that. So hopefully he'll come back.
Yeah.
But yeah, the names are bringing down there.
Yeah,
I'm assuming it's like SPAC.
it is like. I mean, I've been to SPAC a few times, and I've been here. I went last year to Incubus down there.
Mhm.
I was only went there one time, and when we went, we pulled right up and parked literally from here to the road to the gate, and got right in, and didn't have any issues. And I loved it there. I thought it was an amazing venue. We had seats. We weren't on the lawn seats. Lawn seats, when we walked by them, didn't look too bad. But
Right.
we ended up getting better ones down once we had seats. And at the end of the show, we got right out. But I feel a lot of people complain about parking there.
Yeah.
But I've only been there once.
The thing of it is, you go to a concert,
Yeah.
you got to expect.
You're gonna have issues, yeah.
Yeah. K-Rockathon, I waited parked on the
yeah.
side of the road for hours just to get into the parking lot.
Back at Vernon Downs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. And Weedsport.
I didn't go to that one, but
Yeah.
I knew they had it there. Yep.
And
Is that was Cypress Hill?
I'm not sure if they were at Weedsport. I think they were at
They're at one of them, I believe. Yeah.
at the State Fairgrounds.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Cypress Hill.
Weedsport was Boy Hits Car. That's when he jumped off the speaker into the
Okay.
crowd. That was one of the most insane things
Hits
I've
Car, yeah.
ever seen. It had to be at least 40 feet up in the air. And
The crowd caught him?
this guy, the lead singer from Boy Hits Car,
Yeah.
there's a video on YouTube.
Okay.
If you're interested, look it up.
Uh-huh.
Just look up Boy Hits Car, jumps into the crowd. He started climbing the scaffolding, and security is running over there, and he just kept on going. He had the mic in his back pocket. The band is playing. I forget what song it was, but again, look it up on YouTube. And he climbs it, and then out onto the speaker, which are hanging off the stage, these gigantic speakers hanging by chains. And he's out on the speaker that is swaying a little bit, and he's got the mic out telling the crowd, push in, push in. And I remember I was on, if you're looking at the stage, I was on the right-hand side, right in front of those speakers. And by the time everyone had pushed in, and this is at Weedsport, I was right dead center in the stage. So that was a good maybe 40 feet that they pushed the crowd in to one giant glob
Wow.
of people. And he sang the one line of the song that they were,
Yeah.
meanwhile the band is playing.
Yeah.
And he does the one line of the song and jumps off. And it was a moment of, did he survive?
Yeah.
Because you didn't hear anything. I don't know if the mic shut off or he dropped it or what, but it was just kind of quiet and the band's playing. Well, so
Yeah.
it wasn't really quiet, I guess. But and then all of a sudden you see him climb back up on stage, and boy, that blew my mind.
Wow.
It was a great show to be at.
I was at one where lead singer did that. It was Our Lady Peace show in Rochester at
He loves to jump off the speakers.
yeah, was it Water Street Music Hall? I think it was called in Rochester. Just
Okay.
a small little bar venue.
Yep.
Had a balcony. It was really cool. It held maybe 500-600 people, and it was when they had their pop song "I Can't Stand" somewhere out there.
Oh yeah.
That's their. That made him
why did
that
they
made
do
him like
that?
the most famous, and I can't stand the song. But
Yeah.
Anyway, because
I was kind of done with them by then.
yeah.
I mean, I don't want to say that because I really enjoyed a lot of their music
Yeah.
since, but that one, yeah.
Yeah. So he was doing that song, and he's climbing up in the balcony singing, and then all of a sudden he just drops in the crowd. It was probably a 15, 20-foot drop. The
Yeah.
crowd caught him. And then he got back up on stage, and all of a sudden some girl in the crowd decided to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Luckily, people happened to see her, and he kept stopping the song and check, is she okay? Is she okay? She was fine, but some people.
It's amazing some things you see at shows. I saw Our Lady Peace at SPAC.
Oh, yeah.
And he climbed up, I think the guitarist had a full Marshall stack, which when you're climbing on is...
He was climbing, he was climbing on the amp.
Climb to the top of the Marshall stack, which is only, maybe 6 feet
Yeah.
tall, but they're in three separate... The head was on top and the two speakers. And as he jumped off, the whole thing just toppled. But it was perfect
That's
timing.
hilarious.
The band was rocking,
Yeah,
and
that's funny.
the roadies come over and picked everything up, set it back up right. But that's why you pay the money.
Yeah.
That's why you go and see them. That's something you can't get through the radio, and just by owning the CD, you're never going to get that experience.
No.
I always encourage young people, if you like a band, go see them,
Exactly.
because you might change your mind or one way or the other, but it'll give you a different appreciation for them.
Is there anybody in your head that you can think of that you saw going into it? You're thinking, this isn't gonna be any good, and just like, wow, just blew your
Rascal
mind.
Flatts.
Yeah.
Yeah. I dated a girl in the very early 2000s, and she was into country music. I was not. Pop country at that. And Rascal Flatts came to Utica, and so we went to the show. So I wasn't, impressed at all. I'd heard their songs on the radio. They're, okay. But on stage, they blew me away.
Yeah.
Just they rolled out a baby grand piano. The bass player did I think it was a Billy Joel song. I can't remember now, but the way they played with the passion, and it's just Utica. You know, they were huge. They were top of the world, and coming to a small town like Utica, and they gave it their all. And the music was great. I mean, they did a lot of solos that weren't on the CD. You know, it wasn't as poppy. They really made a live show out of it. Three Doors Down was another one.
Yeah, that's one band I've never seen. I've seen a lot, but I've never seen them yet.
I think it was 1999, maybe 2000.
Right when
Kryptonite came out. It wasn't hugely popular, but they were playing it on MTV. Remember when MTV played
videos?
music? Yeah. And that's actually the first time I saw Shades Apart, because they opened for Our Lady Peace. And Cold.
Oh my God, I love Cold.
Yeah, they were
good.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
The talking on stage that he did was,
Yep.
he basically told the crowd that they sucked,
Yeah.
and he shouldn't even be there. And I don't know if it was just an act or whatever, but he was really rude to the crowd.
The guy from Cold?
Yeah.
Really?
But they nailed it. And it was the
wow.
first time I heard the song Just Got Wicked,
Yeah.
which is still to this day probably in my top 10 favorite songs ever, because I'm getting goosebumps now just thinking about a song. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
But there's a point in that song where there's just a 5-second part of that song that gives me chills every time. So anyone out there listening, download Cold, Just Got Wicked, and you'll know what I'm talking about. But yeah, it was Shades Apart, Cold, and Three Doors Down.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a weird mix, because Shades Apart's pop punk.
Yep.
Cold is kind of
heavy,
post-industrial, kind of, I don't want to call it new metal, but very melodic, hard music. And Three Doors Down, which is kind of a Matchbox 20 type of thing. They were alt-rock, but very palatable. And they really blew me away. They were great. I got to meet them afterward.
Oh, that's cool.
They were very friendly. And that was at where was that? It was either at the Utica Odd or Geneseo at the school. But yeah, there was at least a 10-year period where I didn't go a month without going to see a show.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more difficult now, as you know, with kids and work. And
Yep. I'm trying to do a couple of shows this summer. I'm going to that Bret Michaels awesome concert. No, it might be. You never know.
You got to keep your mind open.
Yeah, it might blow me away. Going to Five Finger, and
I want to see what he looks like without the bandana, Bret Michaels.
I'm sure you'll have it on, right? I don't know. I'm curious. Maybe I'll jump on stage and try to rip it off.
Yeah.
No, but Five Finger's playing. I'm not a huge Five Finger fan. They're playing with Breaking Benjamin. They're okay. But a band I'm really into now is called Nothing More. I don't know if you've ever heard of them or not.
Are they from the 90s too?
They might have started, I think they started early 2000s.
Okay.
I could be wrong on that, but I'm not for sure. But
they've got like a almost like a Deftones sound to them.
I would compare them a lot to like Blue October.
Okay, very melodic, kind of minor key.
Yeah. I'm not just saying this. Check them out.
Okay,
amazing.
I will
check them out on YouTube. Check out their live stuff. I only think they have 2 albums out. I'm not for sure, but
sometimes that's the best time to see a band, when they're early on.
And I think they're supposed to be at this show, but I'm not. I've heard rumors that they're not going to be. I know Bad Wolves are going to be there. That new band that covers "Zombie" by Cranberries.
Okay,
they're going to be there, but I think Nothing More is going to be there, and I can't wait. Check them on YouTube. The lead singer, he hops on. He has like this custom-made apparatus. I don't know what you call it. It's on the stage, and it pops up. He stands on top of it and has like does these different noises with it. They put a wicked stage show on, from what I can see on YouTube.
Yeah,
and just their music. He can sing amazing. The guitar and drums and bass. It just all sounds good. Just check them out.
Now I want to go see a live band.
I know.
We're going to see Old Crow Medicine Show in a couple weeks.
Okay. Yeah. I'm not kind of like Mumford and Son, or am I wrong way off?
Yeah, no, they toured with Mumford and Son, actually.
Okay.
They're a bluegrass band.
Okay.
Traditional, very traditional. They wrote Wagon Wheel.
Oh, the one. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They wrote that.
Yep.
Why did I think Hootie?
They give.
I say Hootie, but
he made it. Yeah.
Darius Rucker.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, right.
20 years later.
He's always Hootie to me.
He's Hootie. He's the one that made the song famous,
Okay.
but they took 2 lines of a Bob Dylan. It wasn't even a Bob Dylan song. It was an outtake on an album or something. Look up the story if you're that interested. But 95% of the work in that song they did, and he actually gets half the writing credit. Bob Dylan does. Like he needs more more money, you know.
This is what Dylan could do. Dylan could write songs. Not so much a fan of his voice, but I know it's you hear Dylan, you know it's Dylan, so that's his voice. But I just couldn't sit and listen to him all night. This is me personally, but
do you have this too, where you really respect a band, but you just don't like the way they sound?
Oh, definitely.
That's how I am with Bob Dylan.
Metallica for me.
Same exact thing. Oh my God! I've never met anyone else that feels the same way as I do. I have
not arguments, but people are like, "Are you kidding me?" I'm like, "No, I know they're awesome.
Yeah,
they're amazing. I just never been a Metallica guy.
The stuff they do is great. It just doesn't hit my ear right.
People might, hunt me down and beat me up for saying that. But actually, the only Metallica that I can actually stand is like Load, and a lot of Metallica fans, that's like their worst album. They think.
Well, I'm even worse. Reload is my favorite.
Okay, well, there you go.
Unforgiven 2 and Fuel, and there's that album. There's probably half of them that I like, and maybe 2 or 3 that I really like, and the rest of their catalog, I'm like, I don't get it.
Yeah,
I respect them, and I know that they're playing their asses off and really making some great music that a lot of people like, but it's not for me.
Yeah, same here.
It's crazy.
That is crazy.
We're kindred spirits.
I was just thinking that you were saying about Old Crow, a band that's bluegrassy. I really do enjoy the Lumineers.
Okay, yeah.
Would you consider them bluegrass? I mean,
yeah, I guess.
I really like them. They're good.
Maybe more Americana.
Okay.
But definitely a traditional sound. That's what I've been getting into lately is traditional music.
Yeah.
Music. I love to hear a banjo, a mandolin, a guitar with nothing on it, just a nice acoustic sound. The Dead South is...
The Dead South? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I have to check them out.
You're definitely going to check them out. We're going to... Heather and I are going to go see them in November. We saw them last year, did an interview with them. I've done 3-4 interviews with the band. They've got like 20 million views on one of their videos on Facebook. They're super talented. And it's a modern take on bluegrass with kind of filthy lyrics and...
Dead South. Okay,
I'm gonna get you into them.
Okay, I'll definitely check them out.
But we're gonna go down and see them in November in Massachusetts, and they said they do the podcast.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so
good deal. Look at you getting all.
Well, look at that.
Very cool. You're doing this, by the way. That's cool.
I've
never really. People always say, "Oh, I've got a podcast. I got like famous people," but I've never listened, and I've checked out a couple of your episodes. It's cool.
Well, thank you.
It's really cool.
Yeah, I like doing this. I think. There's never going to be any money in it, but that's not why I do it.
Exactly.
I think there's some very interesting people. I mean, everyone I know is interesting.
Yeah.
Well, not everyone I know, but everyone that I like.
Well, everyone's got their...
Even some of the ones I don't like are at least interesting. But everyone's got their own story to tell, and we're not really telling your story. But I think everyone interacts differently. And people like to hear that.
Yeah.
And I'd like to think that your kids are, what? They're probably under 10?
Oh, 10 and 8. Yeah, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep, 10 and 8.
2 girls, right?
Yep.
And I think it'd be neat, 10 years from now when they discover this or find it somehow.
It for them,
It's a timestamp.
Yeah.
It's a, what do I want to call it? Time capsule.
Time capsule.
So eventually,
Yeah. Remember this interview?
Yeah. And I'm going to say, oh my God.
I could just sit and just talk about music for hours. I mean,
I know. That's what I do.
That's what I mean. It's your job and it's your life too. It's my life. I mean, my 9 to 5 is not my life. Music's my life. But
so you don't like what you do, or
no, it's not. It's not that at all. I shouldn't say that. It's not that I don't like it, but it's.
You're afraid they're going to hear this?
No, I could care less about that. But I mean, it's just
It's a job.
It's a job, and
it's where you go to make money.
Yep, and but I have my passions in music by far. Yeah.
That's why you got to keep it going.
Yep. That's why.
I always tell my wife I can't stop playing music. I've been at it 10 years with the most I've taken off is a little under a month without playing a gig. And I don't think I could.
Yeah.
I'm afraid, too, if I take too much time off, the amount of time it would take to get back into it and work. And I'm lazy.
It's a lot.
Ask the people I work with.
It's funny that when you do, I don't know how it was like when you learned the music that you did, but like for me, learning lyrics, I would sit down and just go over and over and over. Because I was kind of in my mindset, not shooting people down that do that, but I always made a point to myself that I'm never going to have words in front of me. And I did do it a little I admit I did it when I did acoustic for a little bit, but it was just like where I'd glance down and see one word and I'd know the rest of the song.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You know, but I always pride myself on, I want to remember the lyrics. I don't want to have to read them when I'm playing.
Mike Shaw gives me so much crap for that because I bring a notebook.
No, yeah, no.
But there's only 2 songs that I need lyrics for.
Yeah.
Granted, I don't sing a whole lot of our songs. I do backup on most of it, but to take lead on, I'm only doing a quarter of the stuff. But I challenge anyone to memorize all the lyrics to Come Together by the Beatles because there's no rhyme or reason to it, and that's how Mike learns because he learns the story of the song, or as a big picture, not what lyric goes next. With Come Together, it's just random words. I mean, once you get the first line, you know the second because they rhyme. But I need lyrics for that song, and
I wasn't picking on you.
Oh no! I used to be the same way. I'm like, he's got a notebook, and you know what's on my notebook is our song list.
Oh yeah.
When you see me turning a page, it's for one of those 2 songs that I don't know.
I know. One night I forgot our song list for some reason.
Isn't that crazy?
So I had for some reason I had it on my phone though. So I'm sitting there with my phone. I'm like told the crowd, I'm like, listen, I'm not texting anybody when I'm playing. I'm literally looking at my set list.
Yeah. Now, does this drive you nuts when you're playing and you have a list in front of you? When people come up and walk around your mic to go look at your, what do you have next? And they want to pick your next song. Yeah. That drives me nuts. It's like, hey, you can ask, do you know this song? But when they come around and they want to look at your set list, it's like, that's for me.
And start
not you.
Throwing orders out, what song to play next, yes.
That's another thing, too. Like, your job is not only to play music in a bar and please people, but also to deal with people. Yeah. Because the type of people that hang out in some of these bars at 1 o'clock in the morning, they don't even know what they're doing.
They don't know what they're doing, and a lot of it's jealousy.
Yeah.
Because you're playing them music in front of people, and a lot of people don't have the courage enough to get in front of people and play music. And
I love it when people come up and grab the microphone. Man.
I think you said that in Dean's interview, something about a Barkeeter where you found a lot of good talent there that people that are afraid to get in front of the mic and actually got up and did it.
Right.
Like there's so many people out there that are musicians that you don't know about because they like to do it, which is fine. But it's just there's just so much talent out there.
But that's also the time and place for that because it was open mic. Yeah. But when you're up there performing, I hate that. Yeah. Hey, can I sing a song? Oh, I don't know you. Yeah. I don't. We're doing a good job right now. Yeah. Why would I want to replace our lead singer with somebody I don't know if they can sing or not? It's always a drunk girl that can't sing. Always.
Yeah. And their friends are behind them. Oh, she can sing good. Yeah. Yeah. I know exactly what you mean.
Or they grab the mic off the stand. Oh man, some of the stuff.
Any big fights when you were playing?
I got in a fight while I was playing.
You did?
I punched a guy in the face.
Wow. Where was that at?
The Wax House.
Oh, up in Snow Ridge.
Snow Ridge, yep.
I want to say Mike was talking. Was this the night that Dana got stuck or something?
Yeah. It very well could be. We played there quite a few times for the...
got stuck in his car
the hill climb
or something?
Yeah. There's a million stories of Dana getting stuck in his car.
Okay. He was telling me about the...
Dana's the worst driver.
Oh.
I love you, Dana.
So what happened with the punch?
We were playing the hill climb in the wintertime, and there is just... The Wax House was full, which the Wax House is huge. Not everyone was listening to us, but everyone was inside. And there were a group of snowmobilers, obviously from out of the area, that were hanging out. And my wife and I were just recently married. So in between every song, you know, I'd go and grab her and kiss her, and you know. So it was very obvious to everyone there that we were together. We were both wearing wedding rings and stuff. And this guy was sitting there watching all night, him and his group of friends, and I could tell just by the way they were looking, it was just, they want to start some trouble, you know. So this guy comes up, and Heather, my wife, is maybe, I don't even want to say 10 feet in front of me. She's really close, you know, dancing, looking at me and whatnot, which, if you're ever in a band, that's what it's all about right there. You know? And this guy comes up, stands next to her, turns and nods at his buddies, and grabs her ass.
Oh.
And I still had my bass on. We were in the middle of a song. I socked him a couple times.
Why should you hit him with the bass?
I didn't think. Oh, yeah, right. Good thing I didn't.
Yeah,
think of
probably.
that.
Yeah, he probably would have killed him. Probably. Yeah. Huh. He punched
But
him.
by the time I set my bass down and the band had stopped, and my brother was in a rage too, you know, because we're brothers, you know, protective of each other.
Yeah.
And by the time I went to go after him, there is this guy has got to be 80 years old. This little old guy is standing in front of him with his arms out, like, no fighting, no fighting. So I was just, that sent me over the edge. There was no way I was playing after that, and we were only halfway through the gig. So I set my bass down, and I think I went outside and grabbed a smoke and came back and started packing my stuff up. And you know Dana, he's the most professional person you'll ever meet. He's like, oh no, we can't stop now. I said, dude, I'm done. I'm done. And this is how a band is solidarity. And Dana's like, okay, and we're done. And I got an apology from the owner of the place.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's honestly, that is the one and only time I've ever hit anybody in my life. I've been in fights. I've been beat up before. But I was a pacifist for a long time. But I snapped, you know, and looking back on it, it was stupid. I shouldn't have done that. But and probably if I didn't, my wife would have hit him anyway.
Yeah, right.
But it was just a snap reaction. How about you? Any fights?
Yeah, there's always been fights here and there, but
Certain bars. Am I wrong?
big one was
Oh, that's your phone.
no, I'm not sorry. Big fight was down there next to Boondocks. Was before Boondocks. What was that restaurant?
Oh,
there?
Black River Inn.
Yes, it was
Okay.
back then.
The building is still there.
Yes,
but
the
not
building
bar.
was barely. Yeah, it's there. Weeds around it.
I love that place.
Yeah, it was Nate. We were Nate's Hammers. Me and Brian and Adam Beyer. And it was a packed house that night. It was we'd set up in the restaurant part, and it was packed. You couldn't even move in there. And I remember, I don't know what happened, but we were playing a song.
That used to be the place to play.
I almost want to say it was BC Boys, "Fight for Your
But,
Right."
yeah.
I know we played that song, and I almost think it was that what happened. A fight started in the back. If you know the place, but if you don't know, it's a huge restaurant part where you have the dining room, and then there's a hallway before you get to the bar
with the kitchen in between.
Yes, exactly. Yep. And then the fight happened towards that hallway, and it just escalated up toward it. I hopped in front of my drum set with a chair because I thought people were going to fall into the drum set. There was just punches being thrown, people being headlocks with just people pound. It was crazy. It was like something you see in a movie or something. It was just nuts. And the cops ended up showing up, and everyone had finally calmed down. But that was a pretty big fight. And then we had one with Common Ground down in Deer River. There was a bar there, right there in the corner there in Deer River. I can't remember the name of what it was.
Rory? No, it
It's called Riverside, maybe.
Riverside.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the only.
Now I think it's a house now, but
Yeah.
But
It was a bar forever.
Yeah, we played there, and it was a very small setup in there, if you know the bar. And
It's like playing Coach Light.
yeah, I never played there, but yeah, I know exactly. Yeah, and all of a sudden, we're playing. It was maybe the first set, maybe second. It was earlier in the night. All of a sudden, you hear a smash while we're playing. Like, what the hell is that? Someone had chucked a hammer through the front window of the place, and it actually landed on the table next to where my buddy was. Like, it could have easily hit him in the head.
Yeah.
Come to find out, and that being a guy, it was during sledding season, ended up being a guy in a snowmobile, went by and chucked it. Apparently he had gotten barred from the bar like the week before and was mad at the owner, so he thought he'd throw a hammer to the front, which wasn't really a fight, but it was pretty crazy to have a hammer come flying through a window.
Yeah. We played a benefit one time, and we were in the middle of Eric Clapton, Wonderful Tonight, the most mellow song anyone could ever play, and a fight broke out at a benefit.
At a benefit?
At a benefit. Wow. We had to stop playing. Yeah, it was crazy.
Bad blood there, huh?
I'm not going to name the bar.
Yeah.
But it's amazing. Even 20 years ago, all the bars that existed where you could play, as opposed to now, I would say easily half.
Thinking BMI, man.
And yeah. I feel bad for a lot of those bars that can't afford the music rights, because I know numbers and what they cost to get the music rights just to get a couple bands in there.
Yeah.
And
The
I
radio
know
station has to do that, right?
Oh yeah, and for streaming now too.
Yeah.
And that's a whole separate thing. But it's, I get what it's for. It's to make the artist money, which is, I don't mind doing that. But it's sad how much actually filters down to the artists, to the writers of the song. So that's what needs to change, I think, in music, is the middlemen need to go. There's too much business.
Everyone's got their hand in the cookie jar, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, all these bars around can't afford.
It's crazy.
And if they do, they want to make their money, which is understandable. So they charge covers. It used to be, there was never a cover to go see a band. Everything was free. But they have to charge a cover, which blows my mind that turns people away.
Like $5.
I've never seen a cover in Lewis County any more than $5.
Exactly.
And
you're gonna go and spend
people that are like, nah. It's like, wait, this is the only bar within 10 miles.
It has live entertainment. Yeah.
Well, the only bar within 10 miles. You're gonna get back in your car and drive 10 miles to the other bar.
Yeah, to save $5
rather than pay $5.
Yeah. You're gonna spend $50 over the bar at least, probably.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The mentality of it all, it's like you go into the dollar store, Dollar Tree, where everything is $1, and just that mentality. Oh, it's only $1. You buy so much junk you
don't need.
My junk drawer is full of Dollar Tree.
Yeah.
But it's amazing the effect money has on the mind.
It's. Yeah, when I started there with Brian and Nancy's Hammer, it seemed like you could play almost anywhere. It seems like it's a lot less now. And honestly, I don't know what other bands charge. I'm not going to say what we charge, but we're making the same amount of money now that I was making back almost 20 years ago.
I don't think the money bands are making has changed in at least 10 years.
And that's crazy.
That is. Especially when you consider how much a beer cost 10 years ago as opposed to now.
Yeah.
But still, nobody's making money.
No.
The bars aren't making money. The bands aren't really making money with their time and effort into it. And, there's half the amount of bars around, or amount of bars that have music. But also, I feel like there's half the bands. When I graduated high school, you could go anywhere on a Friday night or Saturday night and see a band.
Yep.
Every bar had a band, or at least a DJ.
Yep. And
now there's nothing around.
I don't know of any younger kids doing it either. I'm not for sure.
No.
I mean, like I said, how old were you when you played out in bars?
I steadily playing out in a bar was probably 10 years ago, so mid-20s.
Okay.
Mike was 15.
Yeah, so I'm saying I was, like I said, 18, I think, when I first started. Like, I don't see young kids. I mean, I'm sure there are around, but not that I'm aware of.
Right. I don't know if Felix McHugh.
Okay, yeah.
I know he plays music, and he's good.
Is he good? I've seen him.
He's got a little band together.
He was in a play at Lowell. He was really good, talented as far as acting and everything. And singing, very talented.
But he's young. Yeah. He's going to go to college.
Yeah.
He's going to disappear for 4 years.
Yep.
And by the time he comes back, if he does come back, what is there going to be? What kind of music is he going to play? It's definitely different than it used to be. I feel sad.
Yeah.
But it seems like every band you see is older guys like you and I.
Yeah.
Or even older.
R19 still
like
playing.
Dana old.
R19 is still playing. You know
I
that?
know.
Oh.
That's crazy.
They-
It always impressed me to see them and the guy that had the foot pedal that he made by himself that ran the lights.
Oh.
Because he had a light show, with the,
Yeah.
oh, man. Those guys have been around forever.
Is Dana still messing around at all?
I don't think so. No, he loves his job. I don't know if he even has a place to really play the drums.
Yeah.
But
Seems like Rome there'd be enough people to get something going. Maybe. I don't know.
I'm sure. Yeah.
But he just doesn't want to. Yeah.
I think he's comfortable in his life
Yeah.
and likes that.
To each their
and
own. Yeah.
That's enviable.
Yeah.
A lot of people are just in turmoil in their life, and when you've got it all figured out and doing what you want to do, that's the American dream.
Mm-hmm.
People want a ton of money and their house paid off and all that, but getting there is a really fun part of it
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
I mean, you seem to enjoy your life. You
Yeah.
got a great
Yep.
family. You
Yep.
got a house. You got
Well, we have a house right now. We're actually moving, believe it or not.
Oh, really?
So yeah, we're dealing with that right now. We're actually selling ours and moving to town. We
Oh.
want to be in town.
okay.
So we want to be much more convenient for us and everything.
Yeah.
So the girls are getting older. Seems like we're going back and forth to town 3-4 times a day. it
Yeah.
seems. So yeah, we're going through that process right now. So we're pretty
Cool.
excited about that.
And that's what you need is
Yeah.
those little excitements, a little things to look forward to,
Yeah.
but be able to enjoy what you have now too.
Mhm.
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
It's awesome talking with you today.
Definitely, yeah.
We're gonna do this again.
I hope so.
We're gonna go talk for another hour off mic.
Okay, sounds good. All right.
All right. Thanks, Dan.
Yeah. Thanks, Tony.
Not Mike.
No.
Thanks for listening to Tony and Other People, a podcast. Questions, comments, concerns for Tony's overall well-being? Want to be part of the show? Find us on Facebook or email us at tonyandotherpeople@gmail.com.